Hey everybody, Kayaker 22 here. It's Monday, March 8th. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the training I go through. Today was 3+ hours. Pretty good. I came out a little wounded, a little damaged, but that's okay. We can get through it. I do endurance training. That's it. There's 3 phases when I do this. I train year-round for it, and I mean year-round. Going to the gym 3-4 days a week, on average about 2 hours. And now when I start getting into within that 90 days of my trip, which is going to be the weekend before Memorial Day, weather pending, that's when I start sectioning it off. So the first 30 days is endurance training. That means I get my cardio up. I start doing more reps, more sets. Not extremely heavy. I don't max out. To max out would be stupid at this point. I could do it after my trip, but not now. And then the second phase is I start cutting weight, although I have cut 6 pounds since last week. And then the final phase, the last 30 days prior to my trip, is I really start watching my diet, and I incorporate both the endurance and the strength training, and just start planning my trip and hopefully get out on the water. And that's where the training really pays off. Last year I did like 2 trips. One was the 22 miles. That was half of what I'm going to do on May. And then I kayaked 8 miles upriver, and it wasn't an extremely big river. It's called the Crystal River. But paddling up current anything is a challenge. So I got to incorporate the endurance as well as the strength, because you have to have strength to get up and over logs. I didn't get out for any logs. I just powered through them. And that's a great upper body workout. So basically what I do for the endurance training is now people are going to say, well, why don't you do leg presses? Because I don't like doing leg presses. Leg presses hurt my knees. I came out of the military and I'm banged up a bit. Not as much as a lot of people, but bad knees. I got bad shoulders, and my back is all banged up and some other stuff going on. Not extremely bad, but enough to where I don't want to do leg presses. So what I do is I do elliptical, I set the resistance high, and I start going forward and back, and then I do some other things like cycling and stuff like that. So it does isolate the muscles in different ways, calves, everything on my legs. So I get the cardio, and I get the toning, and I get the strength that I need. I'm not doing powerlifting or anything like that. I just want to be able to do core and balance. And I also want to do a 50-mile plus bike ride trip in a day this year too. So, what I do for the legs works out really well. So I'll do that for about 30 minutes. Sometimes it's 15 minutes here, do some upper body stuff, and then another 15 minutes. And I usually like to get my heart rate up, max heart rate up to about 163. It's actually 167, but I don't like to push that hard. As long as I maintain a 163 for several minutes and then back it down to about 158, 155, and then back up and just do intervals like that, it works out best for me. Now everyone, I got a reflection here. How about that? And it looks like I got an earring. You got to know your own body. I don't suggest you do what I do unless you're already trained, unless you've already been working out. Now, if you're going to go in there and you're going to, first time, you haven't worked out in quite some time, and you're going to start hitting hard like I'm discussing my training, you're going to get injured. You're going to get frustrated, and you're going to quit. Take it slow. I am not a certified personal trainer, but I do train people, friends of mine, anybody that wants to know how I cross-train to get in shape for these long-distance trips. And first of all, they got to be in decent shape. I don't want anybody coming in there with a heart problem or a back problem or, hey, look, my shoulders are junk. because I'm just going to end up hurting you if you try to do exactly as I tell you. So when you come in and talk to me about, I want you to help me, you have to be in decent shape. So as you're listening to these videos, be in decent shape. Do a self-evaluation. Before I started doing these long distance trips, I did a stress test at the doctor and they said, fine. So I got the doctor's clearance. I knew what I had to do nutritionally. I sought professional advice. I got 2 personal trainers that have helped me through injuries, weight loss, nutrition, everything. So I suggest that too. Anyway, so after my my running, I do free weights. I don't go max. I'm capable of doing over 225 on a bench press. I go up to 205. I don't need anything heavier. I'd just rather do multiple sets, multiple reps at 205 and back down. Or work my way from 155. When I do 155, I also do leg lifts, so it incorporates balance and core. And then I work up my way up to 175 or 185, all the way up to 205 and back down. That's when I'm doing presses. I also do dumbbells, and I don't go heavy. I go 40 pounds, 45 pounds dumbbells. That's it. Traps, I like to go 60 pounds. I've got some cat litter containers that 63 pounds both, and I roll my shoulders front and back. If you roll them when I'm kayaking and pulling and I'm rolling these shoulders, I want these to be strong. I want these and my neck to be strong because I'm constantly pulling and pushing. I also do hydraulics. Our fitness center's got a hydraulic machine, which is fabulous. I love it. And you can set it up to your resistance level of 6 max. So I'll start out at 4, and I'll do that. I vary my hand positions here, close in, wide out, and sit straight up without the backrest, where I'll use the backrest too. And sometimes I'll go one arm, and sometimes do just like a rowing, and I'm getting resistance forward and back. And I'll do that. I've done it for a half an hour. 15 minutes is fine, as long as you're continuously setting the resistance level up to the max, your heart rate up, and really push. And it works out the forearms too, and it works out the wrist. And I've actually gotten cramped forearms from doing it. It's great. Also works the tris. It's great, just like a rowing motion. So I'll do that. Also do curls. Now curls I can do 40 pounds, but why? I want 35. I want 30. I work out with 20, 25 pounds reps. I still go heavy, which for me 35 pounds is heavy on a curl. But I don't do a lot of reps. I don't do a lot of sets. I might do 5 reps, 3 sets each. But then I back it down to 30, to 20. All the while I'm listening to my body. And my body says, you know what, you're just not going to do 35 today. Do 30. Do whatever my body feels the maximum is. And then push just a little bit more. Those of us in the military give 100%. That means, 110%, excuse me. What that means is if I tell you to do 50 push-ups, you're going to give me 51. Always that extra 1. Okay? And that's how I train people. I had a pastor several years ago, him and I used to work out together, and he wanted me to train him up on bench press. And he was always worried about how much I can do. And he was a strong guy. He was in great shape. He played basketball, just a superior athlete. But he wanted a stronger upper body. When you're kayaking, you're 90% upper body strength. You're doing marathon. I do marathons with my upper body. And so he threw some weights on there, and he was worried about the weight. I made him close his eyes. And he said, why? I said, don't worry about it. You close your eyes. And I started throwing weights on there. I threw 35 pounds on there. That was 35 pounds he didn't think he could do. And he did it. He did it easily. And when he was done, he said, how much you put on there? And I said, well, I did up to like 185 or something like that. And he said, had you not told me, he said, I could have done more. Yeah, I know you could have. And it was kind of funny because next Sunday he used it as a sermon. So there is a biblical, spiritual teaching there, I guess. So that's the curling. Now I do pull-ups, and the pull-ups is where I injured myself because I like to do weighted pull-ups. Not all the time, but sometimes, and today was a sometimes. I won't tell you my max because I want to stay humble. I will tell you it's a shitload of weight plus my body weight. And today I worked out with 80 pounds plus my body weight, and I like to go behind the head. Now, my personal trainer says, don't ever do that. Well, I like to do it because I stretch. Well, today I did more than I should have, and of course the rotator cuff behind here I pulled. Now, that doesn't mean I'm done. That means I'm just going to rest it. And I continued on with my workout, but it's sore. And obviously I lightened the level, and there's different ways of working your lats. There's a ton of ways, and I can go through that step by step, and I'll eventually take pictures of the equipment I do. I also do like push-ups, and I do dips. If I can get a bar like the Smith machine, if you all know what that is, it's just basically a bar you can do squats with, but I like to hook it up, and I like to lift my body, pull it up. So I'm working that back, I'm pushing and pulling. And when I do that, I'm also doing push-ups. So I'm a firm believer, if you're going to work your muscle one way, you got to work it the other way too, and that strengthens it. That strengthens your tendons, your ligaments, and muscle itself, and gets really all that blood flowing, and not just one way, but always. And that's how you gain muscle, and that's how you get tone, and that's how you get the strength. And that's when your wife or your girlfriend gives you a whistle too. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I love the rowing machine. The rowing machine is really good for me. It boosts my cardio, and it strengthens me because, again, it's a rowing motion. And I'm doing 30 plus minutes on that and 6,400 meters. And, I know that I can do more, but today I was tired. So when I hit that 30-minute mark, there was nothing left. I was absolutely spent. And I managed to get my 6,400 meters in that amount of time. And my ass was sore because it's a plastic seat. So I hope my new kayak seat is more comfortable than this, because it's a long ass time on the water. But again, listen to your body. If you give that 110% and you get 4,000 meters, but that's 400 more meters than you were doing the week before, that's a big plus. That's huge gain. So do it. Start out with 10 minutes. I started out this last couple months with 7 minutes because I hadn't done it in a long time. And I'm finally getting on where I can do 30 plus minutes at a time, and that's where I want to be. But when I do that, I'm also doing the hydraulic. I'm doing everything else. I get a total upper body workout. Now, some of you are probably wondering, what about your abs? All right, so I got some fat on me. I'm 57 years old. I'm supposed to have some fat. I'm a grandfather. I'm not supposed to look like a 20-year-old. I don't want to look like a 20-year-old. I want to look like a 57-year-old, healthy, strong man. And that's what I am. And I'm continuing to build on that. So I do a bunch of sit-ups. I do a bunch of leg lifts. And a buddy of mine, he's a pastor there, and he was telling me, he said, hey, I got this great program. You're going to have to try it. So I'm going to start incorporating that. And he said his abs are sore, and he is in fantastic shape, much better shape than I am. And so I'm looking forward to trying that after this 30 days. I do twists. I do all kinds of stuff. And here's another thing I do too, and this is spread out over 3 or 4 days. You get a straight bar, and the thing could weigh 2 pounds. So 2-pound weights on there. And you just sit there and just crank it out, lift your body, lift it. You wouldn't believe how hard you got to work to get 5 pounds of steel up. Stick your arms out straight, just like that, and start lifting them up over your head. Do that for 10 minutes and tell me you don't hurt. I hurt like a son of a gun like that, but it's great. It really don't injure yourself because it's just your arm weight. And again, push a little bit past to where it says, oh, I'm tired. Give it that extra 10%. So that's just some other things. I mean, there's a lot more that I'll go into, but that's basically routine. And Wednesdays, I'm usually doing a home workout with 20-pound dumbbells. I work the treadmill and I got a pull-up bar. I got bands. I use bands. Bands are great for forearm strength, for wrist strength, for hand strength. I need strong hands for that kayak paddle because I'm constantly pulling, and that pulls on this, and I got what's called a golfer's elbow, which is it's a pull tendon in here. It hurts like hell, but I'm strengthening it. I'm stretching it, and yeah, you're gonna hurt. Don't injure yourself. Pain is okay. It tells your body it's alive. But when you get to the point of injury, that's bad. And that's going to ruin your day. So if you're trying to do any type of long distance event, kayaking, running, these competition events, like the Tough Mudder, that type of thing, you need to do endurance. Yes, you need to get your cardio up there. So when you're sprinting, like when I'm on pushing that last, 2 miles at a 20 plus mile kayak trip, I'm hammering and my heart rate just pounding. A couple of years ago, I broke blood vessels in my nose and I was bleeding. But I did over 22 miles. It was like 23, something like that, in 7 hours and 42 minutes. That was my record time. And my heart rate was just pounding. But it was cardio that got me there. I was fine. It took me a couple of days to recover, but I was fine. It wasn't in a medical emergency or anything like that. Some lady was all worried about me. I said, hey, look, I trained for this here. But you have to get the endurance level up, and you have to push your body. You have to push the cardio. Don't do it too long. Do it in intervals, especially when you're first starting out. Figure out your maximum heart rate. Also, you're going to be able to tell how good a shape you're in by your resting heart rate. Mine is 47. When I'm resting and relaxing, mine is at 47. On average, it's about 52, which is extremely good. But again, I've been doing this for 6 years. Don't figure you're going to do it day one. And I'm here to tell you, I've had my setbacks. I've had medical issues. I've been in the hospital. I've had to start over I don't know how many times. I've had the plateaus, the dreaded plateaus. Hey, I can't get past this. I can't get back. It's up here. Don't let it beat you. Embrace the suck. Deal with it. Talk to me. Say, look, kayaker 22, I'm having this issue. I can't get past this. Seek advice of your trainer. I highly recommend you get a trainer, especially when you're first starting out. If you're at a gym, talk to the fitness person in charge. Like go to fitness headquarters in Wapaka, and Randy and June and Erica. They're wonderful. If I need a spot, if I need advice, they give me the right advice. Be careful of YouTube. Listen to me, but take what I tell you. I'm not giving you wrong information, but look at other YouTubers and see if they're giving you the same information. Because I'm not going to just take one person's advice. There's several that I know I can trust, and there's several that I don't. So the guys that I trust, I'm going to listen to. If Jeff, I forgot what his last name is, he's definitely an athletic instructor. I take bits and pieces of what I've learned, especially on pulse, because my shoulders. And I'll listen to what he says, and then I'm going to look at another guy and say, hey, you know what, they're telling me the same thing. I'm going to try it. And I'll try it, and if it works, great. And if it doesn't, well, then I talk to my trainers, I talk to my fitness instructors at the gym, that type of thing. And I've developed my own program for me. You need to figure it out for you. And I'm going to tell you this too. Do whatever you're going to do for the right reason. To get healthy. If you're going to do a long distance event, don't do it just for you. You know what? I'm doing it for my kids. I want to be an example to my children, my grandchildren. My wife is suffering from this. I'm doing it for her. my best friend, my military brothers and sisters, whatever. Do it for them. And then when you feel good, you get that sense of accomplishment, even if you don't meet what you want to do, but as long as you gave it that 110%, you feel, you know what, I did okay. That's God telling you it's okay to feel good. He wants you to feel good. But stay humble. Do it for somebody else. I used to do it for me. And since I started doing these events, like I had a friend of mine, cancer, did it for her. I got friends of mine that we've been exposed to some really nasty shit when we were in the service. Do it for them. And when I come out of it, and I feel that sense of accomplishment, that's God saying, yeah, you know what? You served them, you served me. Now you can feel good about it. Whether you're a Christian or not, doesn't matter to me. Just do it for somebody besides yourself, and then you'll feel much better about what you've achieved. So, again, this event is for Veteran Suicide Awareness, the number 22, even though it's incorrect, right? It's notoriously known, or it is known, for 22 veterans on average that commit suicide every day. This isn't just for the military. This is for the men in blue. Their law enforcement, our EMTs, our firefighters, all these people that put their lives on the line every single day. And when they see these horrible events, I got friends of mine who have done it, they can't take it, and they take their own lives, which is horrible. It breaks my heart. So that's what I'm doing it for. I'm doing it for them. Anyway, hey, get out there and embrace the suck. This is Kayak 22. I'll see you in the gym.